Hello and welcome to this week's IBD Ostomy support show. I'm Steffi, aka Likes to Ostomy, and we are talking about hernias this week. I am the only member of the show that does not and has not had a hernia. But you know, that's going to be interesting to hear what it's like for everyone else.
Yeah, but you've got knowledge, so yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got enough knowledge when it comes to support wear because of Comfort.
There you go then.
So I can at least talk about the prevention of a hernia. So this week, I have been at work. I am at work this weekend. I can't wait for the new rota to start when I have every Thursday off. I'm literally having to pick up everyone else's leftovers right now. It's going good. I'm getting to know the staff a bit more, which is nice. It's always hard when you go into a new job or a new situation and you don't know anybody. I've not done much blogging. I've not eaten much, so I've not even done any recipes. Jacob's learnt he can. Damn it! I forgot about the live chat. I had a message written and everything. Jacob's learned he can climb up onto my chair and annoy everything, touch everything. I'm knitting for Christmas now because I have no money, so you know my family are getting knitted stuff and homemade stuff, and it's not going to be as pretentious as somebody that sent us all homemade gifts last year. I think that's it really. I'm going to go for a high cut rosemary topping, which is just
when's that?
I don't know, on Saturday. I'm day off, so I'm going to sit and do knitting and blogging, and then
what was that you just said then?
Rosemary topping. It's roseberry topping. It's just too short to be classed as a mountain. It used to be a.
You've totally lost me. It's like, is this a cake or something?
No, it's a. It used to be a mine.
No, I've no idea what you're talking. You're talking French.
No, it used to be a mine. Listen to me. It used to be like a quarry mine thing.
Okay. Sorry.
In most of my pictures, it's just this little mountain-looking thing in all the landscape pictures.
Steffi, is that to do with your peak Matt peak?
No.
Hello, Steve's top.
This literally just takes about an hour and a half. We're gonna when Stephen gets home from work, we're gonna go sit and have food upstairs, up on top of the top and watch the sunset.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
I was totally lost then, Steffi. I'm really sorry. I thought you was on about a haircut or a cake, and I thought, nah, Steve, what's going on here? I'm gonna have to Google it.
You should. It's gorgeous. It's a massive beauty spot, tourist place. But yeah, that's about it for me. So I'm going to pass you over to Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel, rocking two stomas. First thing I like to say is, Steffi, did you know what? I think the 1st of August is Yorkshire Day or something.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you see that, Nat, as well?
No.
Oh, I'm sure it was like Yorkshire Day. But I was going to keep it. I was meant to keep it a secret. Oh well.
It is in August.
I was going to tag you on the day and go Happy Yorkshire Day.
It is in August, and Australia Day is on my birthday.
Really?
So I always have Fosters on my birthday.
Okay, so hi, I'm Rachel. So sorry, I got sidetracked. Okay, what have I been up to this week? I have not stopped working. Like, all my massively list of stuff I've had to do. And I think I've just done my usual, Rachel. I'm just throwing myself way into work. And the weekend I didn't go out, I just literally worked. Got a survey I had to do and other stuff I had to do done. And then I've kind of done the same. And so yesterday I went to the beach and I went on the board again. I managed to kneel on the board, which is great, and I really enjoyed it, and that was really good. But I just noticed that I've got into the bad habit of working again, throwing myself into work and not really resting, and like not really watching TV series, not watching films, literally not really doing that. So I think I need to just rebalance it slightly. Because it's difficult. I enjoy what I do, and especially the research side. I love the research side, and I can read studies all day, and then I kind of, by the time I've read them, I realise, oh my gosh, it's like 4 hours has gone by and I haven't even eaten. So I need to kind of just rein it in slightly. I'm seriously considering about doing a postgrad. Seriously considering doing a postgrad, but obviously it's more work. So I don't think it'll be this September. I'll probably have to save and then maybe start next September. But it would be a postgrad, possibly with research. So we'll see. I'm still thinking. Is
that like a university course? Is it?
Yeah, it'll be like sort of like a master's, possibly, because I've got the degree. So it'll be like a possible. I'm looking at a particular module, but I'm not sure. I need to weigh it up, and I need to save, and I need to see if it's doable. But that's what I'm thinking of doing. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. I can't see how I'll be able to fit it in with what I'm doing at the moment, anyway. But yeah, and I've just been. Yeah, I think the rest of the week I'm going to try and rest a bit, and maybe just not do so much work, and try and get back to watching TV series and just not doing anything. I've forgotten how to not do anything.
Chill.
Yeah, because I think about life like 3 years ago, and especially 2 years ago, when I literally I put the bed down in my living room and I stayed and I watched TV series that was my life. I didn't move from there. I didn't have any purpose at all. That's all I did. And I think of my life today, and it's so different and it's amazing. But I need to kind of also have a bit of a balance, because I think I use it as a distraction sometimes when I got stuff going on. So I'm trying to reconnect and slow down a bit. But I'll leave it there, and I'll pass you over to Natalie.
Hi, I'm Natalie, aka the Spoonie Mummy. Sorry I was a bit late. I decided to hide in the garden with a couple of water balloons and wait for Steve to come down. And then I was like, oh my God, look at the time. Well, we've had a good week. Steve got out of hospital, obviously. Good news. So that was good. He came out on Tuesday morning. And then we've mainly just been sort of doing stuff with the kids, really. We had Layla on Tuesday as well as the boys, so we all went over to the park, which they loved. Today I went to the opticians thinking it was just going to be a run-of-the-mill eye test, check-up and new glasses. And it's not quite worked out like that. So I've got to go and see him again. And that's about it, really, apart from near melting. Oh, I went to the Cheese Awards yesterday.
Oh, how was it?
It was so good. Yeah.
Really?
It's like the most random invite I've ever had. But yeah, I was invited to the Cheese Award. It was in Cheshire. Nantwich.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah, so we it was actually, when we got there, it was the Nantwich Fair, like their county fair or whatever. And one part of that was just this massive tent, which was the International Cheese Awards. And it was,
oh my God, that's
literally like heaven to me. I love cheese. And honestly, I stood in the middle of all the tables of judging cheeses, and I was just like, wow. But there was like all stalls, and they were letting you taste them. And I just brought an absolute load of cheese home with me. But they'd got like tractors on display, and they'd got one bit was all chickens and ducks and stuff that had obviously been judged, and then you could buy them. And they'd got a big craft tent where there was loads of people that had handmade all different sorts of bits, and it was a really good day. I went with I took my mum, and it was really lovely. We really had a good day. So and we saw, I think it's Will Holland was the celebrity chef that we watched to do the demonstration. He made a croque monsieur, and it was like the best one ever. But it really did look good, although like a heart attack on a plate. I think the amount of fat in it must be tremendous, but as a treat, I think I might try and recreate that at some point. And then the guy that plays he played Martin Platt, I think, on Coronation Street, who's now a cheese farmer, apparently. Cheese maker.
Really?
Yeah. He was there, so we saw him.
That's a bit
he was
random,
doing a
isn't
demo. Yep, but it was his. I didn't realise when I was tasting it, but I tasted some blue cheese, and decided that was the one I wanted to buy because I love blue cheese. And my mum was like, "Oh, you just realised you bought it from Martin Platt's farm," and apparently that was his farm's name or whatever it was. So yeah, but no, we had a really good day. It was really fun. So. Today we've had a bit more of a chill day, and like I say, I'm just absolutely melting in this heat. I don't know if you can see. I'm just like, oh, but hopefully it's going to rain tomorrow. So
I just had to put my light on because it's coming really dark. Because it bucketed it down at about 6 when we were outside eating at the pub, so we had to like dive into the pub. But it's coming really dark, so I think it's going to hammer it down again.
It's raining here as well. It started about an hour ago, and it's the smell because it literally hasn't rained in a day for months here. Like I think it's rained once in the night. That's it. We really haven't had much rain at all down south, and it rained, and the smell. It was like, oh, thank God, because the poor like our lawn outside is just like burnt, and the poor plants. So I think it's nice that it's rained. I hope it rains a bit more.
I hope it comes here because we still haven't got rain. And we're waiting for it. But apparently we've got a weather warning tomorrow because it for like a 2-hour span in the afternoon, we're expecting like the heaviest of heavy downpours. So there's actually a weather warning to how much rain we'd get. So shoot on to Steve.
Hi, I'm Steve, aka Baghdadi. My week, I had my kids the weekend just gone. That was nice. I did a bag change video in the week for Coloplast Mio Concave, which I can still say it's been like it's been over a year now, isn't it, Rach? Since I trialed it.
Yeah, over a year.
Still not one leak, not absolutely no leaks, which is amazing for me. I haven't really done much apart from working. I'm planning on going to the coast the weekend, but it's all dependent on the weather. Looks like rain everywhere, so if it's going to rain, I'm not going to bother for a bit of a cycle around the coast. What else? Quite a boring week, really. Not much doing in my world. I'm just looking forward to breaking up on Friday. We finish for 2 weeks at work. It's our yearly summer shutdown, which is the most expensive part of the year because it's during the kids' holidays. So if you do want to book anywhere, everything's double price. So that's pretty much it, really. Friday, tomorrow, we've got a half day, finish at 12. No, finish at 11:30, and that's me done. Fingers crossed for the weather so I can go to a seaside resort and do a bit of cycling. And I believe tonight we're talking about hernias.
I guess whose topic that was. Topic choice.
Yeah, I got a topic at last. No, to be fair, normally
I was only fair.
Now, to be fair, Steph, normally I'll just be quiet and do as I'm told. You know what I mean? So,
Steffi asked you though, and I answered.
Yeah, you did, yeah. Yeah, so well, to be honest, you know, I think we've all got a bit of experience, whether we've got one or not. But you know, it's a big issue for me at the moment on my hernia. A visual
You're
issue.
going in for surgery on it soon, aren't you?
Yeah, about 49 days for 3 hours and 7 minutes.
Oh my God, we're on the day countdown now, are we?
We are, yeah. I've been on the day count since it was about 100 days.
The last 2-3 months, Steffi. Literally every Thursday.
I tell you, I'm petrified. I really am. And it seems like the more information that I get is kind of like information I don't want to get. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like,
there's something to be said about having too much information, isn't there?
There is, but where do you stop?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you're surrounded by people, talking to people about similar stuff, you know, you're finding that stuff whether you want it or not.
Yeah.
It's hard not to read it, isn't it? I know one thing, I won't be looking at no bloody videos like you guys.
I did before my urostomy. I loved it. I looked exactly how the bladder was going to be removed, the lymph nodes, how to peel it away, all the night before my surgery. And
I can't even watch an injection.
Oh, really?
No, I can't.
I just thought you said something completely different.
No.
Juddered.
No, I can't. Even when I'm injecting myself, I have to look away. I'm absolutely fine if I don't watch. And yeah, I used to work in an abattoir when I was like 17, 18. And, you know, I'm so tickled stomach now. You've only got to see an animal on the road that's been, and I'm thinking about that all day. Tickled stomach. Have you never heard that?
No, what's a tickled stomach?
It means that, you know, you see something like a dead animal by the side of the road, and that's it. It's stuck in your brain. You can't stop thinking and looking. You know, you'll be eating your dinner, and it'll just put you off because it'll be there in your brain. Just things make me queasy. Watching stuff makes me queasy. I can't watch needles being stuck in. Oh no, not my thing. And then all went silent.
When I did my degree, we had to, part of the radiotherapy and oncology, we had to do 4 times a year. We had to go into the, I don't know the correct terminology, but we had to go in with the cadavers, and we had like our tests, our exams.
Cadaver.
Cadaver, yeah.
Cadavers.
That's very posh, isn't it?
Yeah, because I don't know how I can't remember the department it's called, but we had exam in the cadavers, and it's like, so we had to go 4 times. And I don't know why I said that. It was about no, that's why, because I felt I was really, at the start it was hard, but then you sort of get used to it, and then when you're working in the field, you sort of, and you kind of get, it hardens you slightly as well. But it was it sort of was a learning tool used then.
Oh, it's not for me.
Can I just say, because I've been meaning to post this on Facebook all day, and I'm in really crap door. My dad's just texted me saying that they're at the Crab and Lobster. It's their 32nd wedding anniversary today, and every single year I've put on Facebook happy anniversary, and today I haven't. My dad's just texted me telling me.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Steffi's dad and mum.
Oh, and Steffi, thank you for my
little boxer.
The little boxer, yeah.
I thought he looked a bit Peaky Blinders like that.
I'm gonna have to sew a stoma into it though. You know that, don't you?
Well, I just thought because it was wearing a high-waisted short.
Yeah, it is true. You are. I'm gonna probably popping over the top like a half a stoma or something.
Peeking out.
Yeah, peeking. So, hernias. We're talking about all hernias or just
all hernias?
Right then, my hernia. It all began about a year and a half ago. I'd say about a year and 3 months ago, and I ate some nuts, quite a lot of nuts, coming back from the shops. You know when you're really hungry and you've done a big shop, and you've got bags and bags of shopping in the back of your car, and you think, oh, what can I eat on the way home? So I've grabbed a pack of nuts, and I've had about 4 or 5 handfuls. And I've gone home and I've put my shopping away and not thought about it. And then, like, moving on, 36 hours later, probably a little bit less than that, I'm at work and it's the evening. I still haven't moved nothing in my stoma. And I sneezed and I felt everything come out of my stoma at one time, and I ran to the toilet thinking, God knows what I'm going to find. You know, it's going to be full of blood and all my guts are going to be in there, what's left of them. And it was just full of nuts. But when I actually sneezed, it was, you know, when you sneeze, it's quite a violent movement. I felt a tear in my extra stoma, and that was the beginning of my hernia. That was, and it probably hurt for about a week after that. Every time I sort of went over a bump and stuff, but and didn't really think much of it. And then, like, each month it's just increased in size. And only now, sort of, I don't know, 15 months down the line, it's starting to really cause me issues with blockages caused by no particular food, just blockages for the sake of it. You know, it's kind of really being temperamental. I'm really aware of how it sticks out. I mean, having a belly, I've got a belly. I've accepted that, but I can't really accept the fact that this part of my tummy really sticks out and kind of ruins everything that I wear. Although a lot of people will say, you know, you can't even notice it, but I can. That's all I can see.
It's on you,
whatever clothes I put on, you know what I mean? So you know, even in summer, I'm wearing like ostomy belts that bring that side up to that side, so it's flat as it can be. You know, but fingers crossed it all goes well in September, and you know, it's sorted out. Anyone else got any stories?
See, I'm not sure. Like, I know I don't have an ostomy hernia, but when I was only a few months pregnant with Jacob, all of a sudden I've got a lump next to the split in my open bowel surgery scar and my cesarean scar, and so it's like essentially an incisional hernia, but it's not going to get any bigger. It hasn't got any bigger. It doesn't cause me any pain anymore. It did when I was pregnant. Because I rang my stoma nurses and was like, help me, you at least know what a hernia is. And they were like, oh, well, when you have your cesarean for Jacob, they'll probably sort that out. And they didn't, because that surgeon was a tosser. But if you've read my post about Jacob's birth, then you know that. But I'm terrified of getting an ostomy hernia. Absolutely terrified. So I wear any of my Comfy stuff. I literally have every single thing from Comfy going. Every single different garment they have. All of it. Because I'm terrified. Stephen's got me doing push-ups and sit-ups in the last 2 days that I've done it, because we're only doing it every other day. I haven't worn them. And the first day, oh my good Lord, I was in agony, but it was all very low down. So obviously it's no muscle you don't really use that often if you're doing a sit-up. So I've changed to doing the tabletop ones where you have your knees out and then you bring them back. That is the most ridiculous hand gesture I've ever done in my life. And they don't hurt as much. And Russian twists don't hurt. Because in my head, I'm huge. And I know it's not true, but it's something that I've got to work through, having BDD. And I'm just terrified. So, like, we're doing it tonight. We're supposed to be doing it tonight. And I will be making sure I have my hernia support later on. Because I'm not risking it. It's not something I'm risking. But
just be really careful with the push-up, with the sit-ups. That's what I'm saying. Really sort of go easy. Don't do anything too violent, Oh,
well, Larry Beth and Stephen are either side of me, and they're like going at it, and I'm like, I'm taking it slow. I'm not in any rush.
Oh, yeah. Well,
even if there's slight raises, rather than full sit-ups, because that's where you're pushing. And what you got to remember is you've got a hole in your tummy anyway, which automatically, basically having a stoma is classed as a hernia. It's just about how big it's going to get, whether it stays as it is or whether it gets big or whether it goes full prolapse, you know what I mean? That's like the ultimate long hernia, isn't it, really?
True.
Do you know what I mean?
But you've got one, haven't you, Nat?
Yeah, I got mine when I was in hospital last year, and I had an MRI, and in the MRI they gave me the IV Buscopan, and I had an anaphylactic reaction to that. And it was that, I think, that kicked it off. Obviously, I was swollen and my throat had closed and all that, and I was just very tense. And I think that obviously did something to my stomach. But it caused a blockage. The day I was let home, actually, it caused a big blockage. And I thought, any minute I'm going to have to go back in. And I was just terrified, but managed to clear that anyway. And touch wood, since then, it hasn't been a major issue. It's not massive. It sticks out a bit, but not terribly noticeably, I don't think. And it only gets worse if I do. Mine is things like carrying shopping bags, because I'll go to the car and rather than do 2 trips, I'll try and carry them all back into the house, doing it in one. And that can really screw my tummy up. Or if I've been in town and like walking around carrying bags and stuff. I notice it then, but I've started wearing a support band for going to the gym, and if I exercise at home, I'll put it on as well. And like I say, touch wood, it's not got any worse, so hopefully it's not going to. And I think I got told, my stoma nurse said that they don't generally do anything for them now unless they get very large, or you start having continuous blockages from them, then that's when they'll sort of look at operating on it, because I think the surgery can be a bit hit and miss, can't it, as to whether it works well or not. But sorry, Steve.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean,
but
they told me that about the surgery. The chances of it coming back is quite high.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think you're at a point where yours is so bad that you will try that. But I think for someone like me, whereas before they'd have rushed me in and said, "Oh, we'll get rid of it," I actually think living with what I've got is fine and probably preferable to surgery.
Sorry, that's my house phone. That nobody ever rings apart from cold callers. Old-fashioned phone.
I was going to say that sounds really old-fashioned.
Do you remember when it happened? So I was going to ask you, Rach, what about your hernia?
Hang on.
No one ever rings that phone.
It's always the way, isn't it?
It's a phone from the 40s. It is. It's probably
Sorry,
like,
I can't multitask. You know that. I can't multitask. So mine, I had my ileostomy 6 years ago. My urostomy is flat as a pancake. Like the left side is just flat and the stoma is really cute and flat. And my ileostomy, but it was 5 years. 5 years ago, I had the complication of hernia and a prolapse. So I think they came together. I think it prolapsed first, and then the hernia happened. So I don't know. I can't really remember which one came first. But looking at pictures, the hernia has got bigger. So I personally find the prolapse is more debilitating than the hernia because it impacts me a lot more. But my hernia, I think, because of all the surgeries I've had 8 refashion surgeries through the scar, and they've dissected muscles, they've put mesh in, they've done everything that he can do. My surgeon has done to try and fix the prolapse, and it's all failed. But because of that, because he's put loads of stuff in, I think that also makes the hernia look bigger because there's loads of mesh in there. There's a dissected muscle that's been wrapped around to try and keep the bowel in. That hasn't worked. So I think there's a lot of... I also had complications with my scar, has cellulitis in, and it's all... That area is like really hard and doesn't... When you touch it, it doesn't feel like the other side because of all the artificial stuff that's in there. So I've always found that prolapses, my pain is more prolapse than hernia. But I noticed that when I put on weight, my hernia gets much bigger and you can really see it. But when I lose weight, it gets smaller. So I find at the moment, because I've lost quite a bit of weight, the hernia is not as prominent, but the prolapse is. The hernia is still there. Like when I'm in the bikini or one picture at the beach, you can see that one side is a lot flatter than the other, but it's maybe not as big as it has been. I remember the ball last year. I took a picture and sent to the girls, going, it was so big, the hernia and prolapse, that I said I can't believe that going to the ball and it felt so big. So I think for me it seems to get less with the weight.
You changed your dress, didn't you?
Yeah, I changed the dress because it was, and again it's about, like Steve said, even though when my prolapse is out full, I can feel like I've got this, that everybody can see it, and nobody can. It's just how you feel. And I had to learn really hard to kind of actually, it doesn't matter, and to try and not think of it just in the way I see it and the way other people see. But it can be difficult.
But it can be disguised as well, can't it, by fabrics? You know, yeah, you've tried on so many dresses and said, "How does this look?" And you can't see nothing at all. Yet you put something shimmery on that you can see every single crease. Then it can be disguised. I mean, I can't get in a dress. They don't do them in size 12s. You know what I mean? So
it depends what again what style. There's so many ways that you could do. Like I found when the Confies brought out the double layer boxer, that was like a godsend because there was 2 holes and it fits really well. And the same with the vanilla blush boxer is good as well. And I find that that's quite supportive and it helps. And it just, you don't see the prolapse, it slimlines it. But I just wanted to say, like, because I've just done a bit of research, and I knew about this anyway, but I thought I'd just mention it. So there's a study that's been going on for the last 2 years called the Cypher study. Don't know if you've heard about it. Cypher study, and it's a study that is investigating the prevention of parastoma hernias. I believe that Sue Blackwell's involved with this. I think with Neil Smart and a few other people. But it's been going on for 2 years, and there's 2 phases to the study. But the first part, they were looking at surgeons' technique. So they were like looking at how surgeons did the different surgeries and whether that would impact like maybe like hernia formations. And then the second part is where they're interviewing patients to find out what it's actually like to live with a stoma. I think it's a really exciting study when the results come out, and it'd be good to read it when it comes out. But the other thing that they said is that in the NHS research, on one of their little like blurbs about this research, it said that 40% of patients have a complication of parastomal hernia who have a stoma will end up 40 patients. Which,
it's quite common, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought that was quite like I was a little bit shocked by it. But there's no mention again of urostomy hernias. Are they called para-urostomy hernias? And again, I don't know if the incidence are that high because it's a small bit of bowel is used for the conduit. They do occur. I know they do occur, but I don't know if they're as high as the others. And there aren't as many looking today. There aren't hardly any studies about para-urostomy. When I was at the UA event last year, they were talking about hernias, para-urostomy hernias, and he was saying that there's big movement in hernia direction at the moment, especially parastoma hernias, but there seems to be urostomy research is lagging behind in regards to the hernia, but I don't think it's as high as the 40%.
I wonder what the percentage is, because I mean, I wouldn't have thought that urostomies would have had hernias, because it's not connected to the stomach. Obviously, I'm just going by what I think. I haven't got a clue.
But they take the segment of bowel out, and then they'll make a conduit out of it. They'll put it back in, and they'll attach the ureters to it, and that comes out. However, I suppose if you think about it, they're still going through the abdominal wall, so the other intestine can still poke through. So it could either be an incisional hernia or a para-urostomy.
Graham's asked, how do they do a hernia repair? I know it's changed recently, hasn't it, in how they do it, because they don't like putting mesh and stuff as much now,
surgeon, when I spoke to my surgeon recently, he said him and his partner do like a new technique where they kind of like they're going front and back. He says he preferably use pig mesh over synthetic mesh. And he's sort of saying like one is at the back like that, and the other comes at an angle like that. So they're they're sort of knitted together better, even though you're still going to have a hole there, for your stoma to go through. But I'm not 100% sure. I still want to ask a few more questions about that. It's not until he opens me up will he find out whether it's got to be moved to the other side. So I suppose they need to see. Yeah, he said the hernia does go back in when I'm lying on my back. He can push it in, it's soft. So, that's a good thing. But I really need to find out a little bit more, to be fair.
Different
How did they do yours, Rachel? Or was yours when they were sorting your prolapse as well?
Yes, they've never actually fixed the hernia. I think he's tried. Well, no, I don't think he's tried. I think the amount of things that he's tried for my prolapses, he wrote a list for me once, and I don't know what I've done with the list, but there's so much different techniques that he used, and I know that he had to ask globally like advice on how to do it, because he just said, I can't believe it's just not working. But regarding the hernia, I don't actually know that answer, because different surgeons use different techniques.
Yeah.
And I think again, I can't really answer that. I'm probably not experienced to answer that, but there are different ways that they use, and maybe if you can speak to your doctor or have a look online.
The first Purple Wings ball I went to, I was sat on a table with a lady called Donna, who I still talk to, and she had a hernia and had to have mesh, and then they'd not done a very good job, and the mesh got infected, and she nearly died, and they lost all her hospital records, lost them all, no record of even doing the surgery, and And then she was she's in the Lakes, and she was then transferred over to Newcastle. And then they had to they just sorted it out. As far as I'm aware, she's all right now. But I know she was doing the 5-2 diet, but she was being very careful with it. Because I was like, how the hell can you live on like next to no calories on like however many days a week? And she's like, you get very crafty with no calorie vegetables. I was like, oh, fair enough. But there's so many horror stories that go around about any form of surgery whatsoever, and it is always obviously best if you're going in for a hernia surgery, to talk to many different people that have had it, because you will always. When I worked in a shop many years ago, they once said to me in our induction, you will hear, out of 10 people, you will hear 9 times more the bad stories and negative than you will the positive.
Yeah.
So you're going to more likely hear all the negative stuff before, so you need to talk to many people, I think. Just putting a poll up in a group. Have you had hernia? Have you had the surgery? Was it positive? Was it negative? And then talk to the people that are positive, because there's good and bad in everything. And you see so many people that are just terrified of having any form of surgery because they've only heard the bad stuff.
Yeah.
So like, hopefully Steve's is going to go well, and he's going to spread all the positive vibes over everything, like he does everywhere.
Even if it doesn't, I'll just tell people how much that I love my hernia, and I'll try and grow one on the other side so they match. You know what I mean?
If you're
go on. Sorry, Rachel.
No, it's nice. I think I've got it.
I was going to mention support wear. Now we've heard of Comfies do a brilliant job. I'm obviously advocate for Vanilla Blush. I wear the stuff. I mean, when I go to the gym, I wouldn't dare go without any wear now. Do you know what I mean? I have to wear the shorts and the t-shirt. Now it gets hot. I lose more sweat than I normally would, but it's imperative for me now because I don't want to get any bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact that I've got no abdominal muscles there. I can't do sit-ups. I literally can't physically pick myself up using my stomach muscles. So, that gives me support there. I'm going to ask them when I have my surgery if they can do a little tummy tuck as well, if they can suck a bit of liposuction out, because it'll be helping. Surely it'll be helping to stop causing another hernia, and not only that, get some bars put in, perhaps 6 of them.
Part of me is a bit gutted. When I had my stoma surgery, I'd seen a plastic surgeon maybe a year or so before, because I wanted my boobs done, reduced, whatever. And one plastic surgeon had said that I needed to lose weight because I was too fat, and I was like, thanks, I'm smaller than you. But anyway, and I saw another one, and he was like, I had to go back when I'd lost weight. And I was like, my main issue is actually my stomach, because people have told me loads, as from having it at 21, that it was really awful looking and distressing. And I'm like, screw you, it's on me. Don't say things like that because it's not fair. He said that if I had my stoma surgery open, he would have gone in and he would have sorted out, because it's like I've got like an upside down crucifix with 2 really splits in the middle, giant circles. It's not so bad now because it's gone white, but at the time it was pretty bad. And even though I did have keyhole, part of me hoped that I was going to have open surgery again, so I'd have a nice knee, and I was going to get him to flatten my stomach off. So I'm with you. I'm going to
ask him. I'm definitely going to ask him, because I think even if it can, without the vanity part of things, even if it can stop the cause of another hernia through losing some tummy fat, then surely that's a good thing. It's going to save him a job in the long run.
Can I tell you a funny story? In one of my admissions for the surgery, I was in the surgery afterwards, and I met this lady. She was such a character. Like, you meet characters. And she was I think she was about 70, but she was just so young and live, and she was amazing. She was such a character. She had the same surgeon as me, Mr. Howe, and she went into surgery, and when they took the gown off, she put like little stickies like on her, going boob job here, tummy tuck here, and Mr. Howe said he was in stitches because we were on the ward, so he was able to talk about it. And he said he was in absolute stitches, like he made everybody laugh because they just pulled it up, and she had these stickies going tummy tuck here and boob job here, and I thought that was a brilliant idea. I wish I had thought of that. I think you should, because that'll make them laugh. And then they open up, you're like tummy tuck here, liposuction here.
I know I've seen people before that are having a reversal, and on their last ostomy bag, they write a message to the surgeon.
That's a good nice
one. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
So, support wear. Anyone else got anything to say about support wear?
Should we look at questions, see if we've had any questions?
Oh, my computer's gone down, hasn't it?
Oh, is it?
Everyone's been talking to you as well.
The page went. No, you know what? It said something like, I wanted to comment on Graham's comment, and it said sign in. So I put my email, and it said password, and that's where we've stopped being friends then, because my computer never remembers my password. It expects me to remember it, which is ridiculous.
Just silly. Yeah, I agree.
So the computer's on the floor. It's a Qualcast. Ridiculous thing.
Well, I think there's support wear out there for everyone. I mean, obviously, I advocate for Comfys because they work for me. I haven't tried vanilla blush, and
I thought you said Comfys work for me.
I don't see why I should, but I'm not going to slate them. I've only ever slated one, and that was Supportex, and that was because their staff were abhorrent, absolutely disgusting, and they just got to the point where I was like, nah, I ain't wearing a scare belt from you at all. I'm sure vanilla blush are fantastic for those that like it. Like I say, I haven't tried it, but why change when something works for me? But everyone's different. There's totally room for people to like.
Our competition is good.
They like the vests from Vanilla Blush, or they like the pants from Comfys.
Yeah.
There's no law or unwritten rule that says you have to just stick with one or the other. You wear what works for you, and it doesn't. If that's a mix of companies, whether you're buying some or getting them on prescription, it works. You do what works for you. I mean, I haven't bought any support wear this year or got it on prescription because I've got so bloody much.
It's the same here.
Some other companies that we haven't mentioned that also do support wear, CUI Wear, which do a really good. Well, I quite like the hernia bands, the hernia support bands. They do Support X, and then there's another one that does your belt, Steve, but I can't remember.
That's the name. Highline. That was the heavy duty, Blake Beckford type weightlifting belt. Really stretchy, got a zip in it so you can put your credit card and stuff in there. Really good they were. I tell you what, recently I've had a pair of the I Am denim jeans. Now, Rachel, I know you've got a pair. I know Louise has got a pair now, and my jeans, I was so pleased with them. Firstly, because of the weather, I wasn't looking forward to trying on any jeans, to be fair, but they're really sort of thin in fabric, they're breathable. And they make even me look really slim, and my legs look quite athletic in them. So I was really pleased with that. I'm chuffed to bits with them. And they got the Sony band.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
It's all right. Carry on.
That's me done.
Oh, okay. Well, we've got a question from Ostomy Online about support wear. It says, with a Comfys waistband, how do I stop the output from pancaking at the top of the bag from the pressure?
My opinion.
I struggle with this because I do hate wearing the support belt, to be honest. I am going to try and get a vest. I think that's my next port of call to try. But all I can say is empty regularly and use maybe some loperamide if you sort of go into the gym or something. Use loperamide a little time before so that your output is a bit slower.
Well, they've also said the
sorry.
pancaking happens even without anything over the bag. So
Yeah.
that it's not the
So
waistband
it's
that's
not
causing the.
My only advice would be with that. Yeah, pancake does happen. It's going to happen, isn't it? It would be
Even
to
more
use
fluid.
the lubricant.
And be careful of your diet. I pancake only when I've had potatoes, which is heartbreaking because I love potatoes. Potatoes anything, potatoes everything.
But if you do want to eat
I can't,
potatoes, just drink more. If
it doesn't make a difference for me, personally.
No.
For me,
have you tried the lubricant?
Yes.
Now as long as that'll slide down, everything will slide down. Then I think if you've got anything tight over you, go on. Sorry.
Have you checked the back? Because I got some from Opus, and which is basically like Trio, but obviously it's just an accessory company. And it said not to use on like your skin. So
really,
I had to be and obviously it needs to be around the top for me.
Yeah, of course.
For my stoma, it needs to be around the top. That's where the lubrication needs to be.
Yeah,
And obviously it's going to touch my stoma.
Yeah.
I use the Bravo one,
convex bag. So I got really panicky about that. So maybe have a look, which is a bit daft, isn't it, when it's an in-bag lubricator?
I use the Bravo one. I think that's good, but also baby oil. I've been told is really good as well.
Baby oil made my bag come straight off.
Really.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to make sure that it goes in exactly that part to make sure none goes over the stickiness, but it's one of them, isn't it? You've all got different skin types. No, you cannot.
Can I say something? I hardly ever get pancaking because my output is so liquid all the time. I hardly get output pancaking because it's just liquid. When hardly gets solid, it's just consistently liquid. And I don't the few times I might have, like if I've had a bit of a blockage or there hasn't been much activity, but I don't really get pancaking. Or maybe it's the prolapse, I don't know, but I just don't.
The prolapse is gonna push your bag out already, isn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's gonna.
Yeah, I just don't really.
It's not gonna be around that bit.
Maybe that's why I don't get it. But I also
with pancaking. Sorry, everyone's dropping in, dropping out. I can't. So if I put it in,
it's okay. Carry on, Steffi. I finished what I was saying.
Has everyone finished talking? Because everything just went black, and I was like, I can't hear anything. But I think with pancaking, if it's going to do it, sometimes it's going to do it. One ostomy blogger turned around to me and said, "You can't get pancaking if you have an ileostomy." I'm like, well, you can.
Where else would you get pancaking if you didn't have an ileostomy?
Because obviously it's more formed for them. But you can definitely get it with an ileostomy. The other week, I don't know if it was Rachel or if it was Natalie, I was messaging, flagging off the fact that day I hated my stoma. And I don't have an issue with my stoma 9 times out of 10. But for 3 times within an hour and a half of each other, from 2 o'clock in the morning, changed my bag from pancaking. I was just like, I was done. I was over that day. But
Graham's asked why it's called pancaking because you can't toss it.
You can, but next door neighbour's not keen.
No.
Austin Online says that their output constantly varies throughout the day. Does anyone else find that? Because I do, depending what I've eaten, how much I've drank, how little I've drank.
Put on there about how long they've had their stoma because I found it really bad at the start and it has settled down now, I think, just because I've got to know what food, like you, Steffi, potato causes mine to thicken up really, really loads. So it's a good one to have if I'm particularly watery. But I know if I've eaten potato, I'm going to have thicker output. And it has, like I say, settled. I think it's just getting to know what foods have what effect on your stoma and whether you're drinking enough. It's probably Is that it? I'm not waiting to see if anybody's
Nobody wants
agreeing
to
with
join.
me.
Nobody wants to box in now.
You all
just in
just
case.
went. Everything just stopped again. So I don't know what anyone said then.
I was just saying about my stoma output. I had the same. I asked Ostomy Online about how long they've had the stoma, because mine was really like that at the start and it seemed to have no rhyme or reason. But I've had my stoma longer. It's sort of settled down because I know what foods will affect my stoma, how they'll affect it. I know about keeping hydrated and drinking enough and drinking the right things now. So it's much easier to sort of control it.
And the same goes if you have high output. Like today, for instance, mine's been it's just been water, constantly water, and like I have to empty it within like an hour, just over an hour of it of doing it previously. And I noticed this week I've been having a lot of plain water, which isn't good for ostomates. And I bet you Rachel, any money, she has some plain water in front of her.
But I
But
do a mixture. See, I've got at the moment I'm doing a mixture of St. Mark's and water, half and half in it. So I'm trying to drink 3 litres, but half of it, litre and a half St. Mark's.
I don't care. Where's my money? I said you had plain water in front of you.
But I've also got a fizzy drink and peppermint tea.
She's
frozen water. That's gone.
Can we mention the article, the Canadian article on the cigarette boxes?
Oh no, we can't mention it. No,
we're not mentioning
literally, this hasn't been dropped the last 3 days.
Dave, you have 8 minutes. Talk about it if you saw it.
Who found it horrifically disturbing? And me. Now, secondly, who on earth would let anyone take a picture of them with a bag so full? It was
That's what got me really badly. Like,
it was one of the most old-fashioned bags. It was ridiculously full. There's no way I wouldn't lift my top if my bag was. I wouldn't let my bag get that full unless I was asleep.
Do you know what got me the most is that there's been loads, because Vegan Ostomy also put an article out that was kind of asking, was our anger misplaced? And he did make a balanced viewpoint of it. However, I think for me, it's not so much. It was not so much. Why I was angry wasn't because of the cigarettes. Why I was angry was because that we advocates ostomates for years are trying to break the stigma of stoma bags. And if you've got that on the packet, it's not so much the picture. It was the wording that went with the picture. You'll wear a toilet for the rest of your life. Thank you very much. That toilet has saved my life. That toilet has given me so much more than I meant. For me, it wasn't so much about the fact that the cigarettes and all that. It was the fact that I've had people that have. I've been called to speak to people that have stomas, and they've refused to have stomas due to cancer. In these instances, cancer, and they've died because they haven't wanted to have a stoma bag because of these stigmas, and that's my reason why I got annoyed, because using it as a negative as a deterrent can stop somebody from having a stoma bag and choose death over having the bag. That's what got me. Wasn't so much about, I understand what Erica was saying, but it wasn't so much about that. It wasn't so much about cigarettes and thinking that, oh well, they may think that it's just to do with smoking. It wasn't to do with that. It was about, for me personally, it was about the stigma of what was attached to it, that we've been trying to break. Everybody's trying to break the attachment of having a stoma bag. And then that one article and that one campaign, if it had gone out, because now it's been stopped, it's not gonna go out. But if it had gone out, then that would have undone all the work we have all done.
It would. It was terrible.
And that's
really
what upset
negative.
me.
I mean, putting pictures of lungs, directly caused by smoking. And don't get me wrong, I smoked for years and years, so I'm not going to stand up and preach about the do's and don'ts. We all have our vices, simple as. But to sort of, I found it really negative, especially towards us when we do advocate for the benefits of having a stoma. Really,
I was indifferent on it. I could see how absolutely ridiculous it is, and all the negativity that it was helping to keep going. But it's not everyone that smokes is going to get colorectal cancer. Not everyone that smokes is going to get emphysema. Not not everyone that smokes is going to get lung cancer. Not everyone that smokes is going to get prostate cancer. Or they keep saying like bacon last year was the biggest cancer causer, and I don't know many people are going to suddenly stop eating bacon.
There's no chance that's going to happen.
I could see both sides, and it was more the wording for me. I mean, one of the girls in my therapy had a cigarette packet on Tuesday, and it was a picture of a woman's body. There was no top half, and there was just like a little explosion where her genitalia would have been. And I'm like, well, what's that supposed to? Because most of the people I know that's had or have cervical cancer didn't get it from smoking. You know, there's so much. It's supposed to be awareness, and if they just worded it better, you know.
What was that bacon thing then? I didn't hear about that. Was it smoked bacon?
It was just any bacon.
Just it was processed meat, wasn't it? So it's like bacon, sausages were dragged into it.
Okay.
Apparently they're the worst things for us.
Oh dear. I'm in big
Steve,
trouble.
you got no chance then, because the amount of breakfasts you have, like sausages and bacon rolls.
I do like bacon. I'm not that bad.
I don't know many men that don't like bacon.
When Rachel comes to mine, I feed her up, you see. I feed her up with cooked breakfasts. I don't do that when she's not here.
Yeah, you do, because you say, I'm making a bacon and a sausage roll.
No, it's been years.
No, it hasn't.
Cereals for me. I'm still eating them cornflakes with the fruit in. And there we have it.
Does anyone have any idea? Like, I'll put it out to everyone that's on the chat. Do you have any topics that you'd like to cover next week? Because I don't think we have any.
I've had a request for a prolapse one.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we've actually covered, so I think it'd be a good one.
Oh, should we try and see if we could get Chris on? Maybe do the prolapse, because then we have the two of us talking about it. We'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, I've never prolapsed, apart from a little teeny bit, but it
if I'm
really worth mentioning it.
If I'm just talking about it, then it's not.
Yeah.
If there's somebody else that could talk to you about it, it might be more conversation.
Yeah.
We'll have a chat. We'll message after and see who, if not somebody else.
Yep.
Is anybody coming up with anything? Liver disease.
I'm thinking the
IBD.
prolapses is going to be a really good one.
Well, it's just that it isn't really talked about. It isn't really mentioned. What is that?
Has Rachel seen the chat?
No. What?
Graham's on countdown.
Oh, 2 minutes.
Terrible. Do you know what? It's finished. This is the last show. She's going to rush off from us and leave us.
Do you know what?
Good,
I'm gonna have to have some like counselling after it finishes. What am I gonna do from 9 till 10?
Oh my God.
The last 8 weeks it's been Love Island. Oh, there's Love Island 6 hours time, 5 hours time, 2 hours time. No. And it's so fine. Honestly, I'm ashamed to say I'm totally hooked. I'm gonna blame that I'm lonely and I live on my own, so I'm just using that as an excuse. I'm lonely. This is why I'm hooked.
It is terrible.
We've also
absolute bullshit. Excuse my language.
No, it's not.
I'm lonely, but I will not watch it. No chance.
We've got a bit of talk. We can do talking about telling people about your ostomy.
Yeah.
And there's food with ostomies. I mean, last month, Paulette, last year, if you scroll back for our many videos, you will find we had an entire month on food. What the hell did we call it? Natalie, what did we call it?
Chef.
My stoma chef.
Thank you.
Yes.
Because that was Natalie and my joint month.
We should redo that.
We should redo with stoma chef.
I tried asparagus, didn't I?
You did try asparagus.
And what was that? Quinoa.
Quinoa, yeah.
Quinoa.
I tell you what, I remember wandering around a supermarket with Rachel, up and down about 5 aisles, wondering what the hell is quinoa. Where do you find it? Is it food? Is it fruit? Is it cereal? Is it paste? Didn't have a clue. I was looking in the trainer section. I was.
Right, bye everybody. I love you. I have no excuse next week.
See you soon. Take care, then.
Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.